I'm going to try skipping as much of this racist shit as possible, and I'll only talk about the most ridiculous claims as they come up. The statement on the screen is one of those claims. Now, remember, this is Black Lives Matter, a movement that started because of the perceived police racism in America, while disregarding the fact that less than a third of the people shot by police were actually black, and also disregarding how often the police officer is also black. It's taken out of perspective by assuming that all black people who are shot are innocent. Well, they're fucking not. But the statement isn't coming from any of the Black Lives Matter movements in America. It's coming from the UK, where the police are only armed in extremely rare crimes involving confirmed armed suspects. So, the business. 1,563 people died while in police custody since 1990. Oh, this is terrible and truly a just cause for Black Lives Matter UK. So, I want to see the evidence, first of all. It's actually true. Notice that the racist who says it says nothing about the race of the people killed, or how they died, or the fact that only 157 of those deaths were actually black or of an ethnic minority, which means that almost 90% of them were white. I feel like I'm flogging a dead horse here. It's been brought up so often, but Black Lives Matter UK are still at it. I'd like to reiterate that this is 1,563 people since 1990. That's 26 fucking years. It's a brilliant statistic if you want to be honest. Only 1,563 people in 26 fucking years. Black Lives Matter would like you to think that all the deaths were black. They'd like you to believe that the police were responsible for each and every one of them, but they're just racist bigots playing on the fact that people do not want to be labelled racist and are less likely to speak out against the movement because then they get that label. Literally, anything I say against a black person, for example, can be twisted to imply that I'm the racist. I mean, come on. Even if I say I have a number of black friends, suddenly I'm only friends with them to show people that I'm not racist, and they're only token black friends, which is a racist attitude anyway. But does it stop with the deaths in police custody? Most of which were natural deaths, some were suicides. It's not as if the police in the UK are going into prisons just to beat black people to death just because they're black. Hell no. What happened in London with the Black Lives Matter movement, UK, blocking people from getting in for fights? Black people in Britain are 28% more likely to be affected by air pollution than their white counterparts. Really? So, black people are 128% likely to be affected by air pollution. Because people in Britain are 100% likely to be affected by air pollution. How do you think air pollution works? Does air pollution go around crying out nigger alert every time it sees a black person?
So on Friday, major road networks across Britain were shut down. One of the first we saw to go was Birmingham. The A45 activists lay across the road with arm locks and shut it down. Then we saw the M4 spur to Heathrow, one of the major road networks serving Heathrow and the M4 into London was completely shut down by 10 activists who also arm locked and closed it for multiple hours. The whole road was cleared. Then we saw the same thing happen in Nottingham where tram lines were stopped. Major tram lines, some of the busiest in Europe, were stopped by activists coming together with arm locks and closing it off. Then later in the day we saw the Princess Parkway in Manchester closed down by multiple activists taking banners and shutting down the whole road. In the evening we saw demonstrations where hundreds came together to mourn, to celebrate, to grieve We heard speakers, families who have lost loved ones to the police. We saw organisers and activists come and give inspiring speeches, and then we had a space in the evening where many black people came together to organise, to strategise, to think about how we can move forward and do more of the same.
So where do you get off disrupting the lives of people trying to go about their days by blocking off roads and tramways? If you want to believe that the British police are actively targeting innocent black people, then good for you. But when you disrupt my life to push your bullshit, you really should be ready to provide proof. I want proof that the police are, in fact, targeting black people. And I want proof that these black people are fucking innocent. Seriously, if you're committing a crime, I really want the police to target you. It's called justice, and that's the job. I don't give a flying fuck if you are black, white, yellow, or green. All Black Lives Matter are doing is trying to invent their racist narrative, trying to get people behind them to believe and follow without looking into reasons or evidence.
In the evening, we saw demonstrations where hundreds came together to mourn, to celebrate, to grieve. We heard speakers, families who have lost loved ones to the police.
We had speakers, families who have lost loved ones to the police. What were these loved ones doing to have been lost at the hands of the police? There's no context in this statement at all. If they were participating in illegal activities, then they deserve to be sent to prison. Now, let's see your evidence that the police were the ones responsible for the deaths. This is just a quick screenshot of the crowd as some racist woman shouted, "Put your hands up if you know someone who suffers from mental health issues." The sign, as you can see, says that more than half the deaths in police custody involve someone who suffers from a mental illness. So, I have a quick question. Did that mental health issue result in their death? Without the context, of course I can't take the claim seriously, because I don't know why it accounts for anything to do with Black Lives Matter. I also noticed how many of the people in the crowd raised their hands. I've got to question the validity of this little survey because mental health issues cover so much from depression to schizophrenia, and I don't really know how many of the people in this crowd are just lying bastards. But yeah, it affects all of us, doesn't it? The final thing I wanted to point out was this idiot woman.
Also, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter recently, which is really... Basically, I've seen a lot of people tweeting the hashtag White Lives Matter. No. How do I put it? I listened to a song by Macklemore recently, and it had the most perfect explanation of why it is wrong to say White Lives Matter in, you know, the time of this. Like, it's not right. The hashtag is hashtag Black Lives Matter, and the reasoning behind it is, this is all the words of this man on this song. He says, it's like as if one house was on fire in a street of houses, and the firemen came and they started to pour water over all the houses. That is hashtag White Lives Matter. Hashtag Black Lives Matter is the firemen come and they would obviously only hose down the house that was on fire because it was the house that needed the help the most. Do you get it now? Please tell me you get it, because that is such a simple explanation. The song is called White Privilege.
So, here's a little analogy. If a house was on fire, the fire brigade don't douse the neighbouring houses in water. Therefore, Black Lives Matter only needs to focus on black people. Well, bullshit. First of all, if there was a fire, there might be a very good reason for dousing the neighbouring houses in water. It's called preventing the bloody fire from spreading, you moron. I wonder what happens when you don't douse neighbouring houses during a fire. I think, by the way, that this is a terrible analogy. After all, there are no black lives on fire, are there? And houses are fucking inanimate. You're taking a life-threatening situation and equating it to another that isn't even slightly similar. Or do you think fire is racist too? Are white people made of asbestos or something? The idea that I have white privilege just because I'm white is insane. After all, while I am white, where's my privilege? When do I get some other schmuck to pay for my university education? Because I'm damn sure I can't afford it.